The story of Black Wall Street, the thriving Greenwood district of Tulsa in Oklahoma, is one of both remarkable achievement and profound tragedy. It stands as a testament to the resilience and economic success of African Americans in the early 20th century, as well as a painful reminder of the racial violence that has been inflicted upon Black communities throughout U.S. history. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, the town of Tulsa, Oklahoma, was a growing city with a booming oil industry. However, like many other parts of the United States at the time, Tulsa was also deeply segregated, with Black people being largely excluded from many economic opportunities. Despite this, the African American community in Tulsa managed to create a vibrant and prosperous district in the north part of the city, an area that would become known as the Greenwood District. The community's success was built on the foundation of Black entrepreneurship, self-sufficiency, and a strong work ethic. As African Americans in the South faced the systemic violence and exclusion of the Jim Crow era, many sought refuge in cities like Tulsa, where they could build their lives and businesses in a segregated space. The Greenwood District became one of the most prosperous African American communities in the United States. At its height in the early 1920s, Black Wall Street had over 300 Black-owned businesses, including banks, hotels, grocery stores, movie theaters, law offices, and even a hospital. The community was home to successful doctors, lawyers, and entrepreneurs. The residents of Greenwood were able to establish a self-sustaining economy, with Black-owned businesses supporting one another. It was a place where Black wealth was being created and circulated within the community, a symbol of Black excellence and independence in an era marked by discrimination. One of the most notable figures in Greenwood's development was O.W. Gurley, a wealthy Black entrepreneur who was a key figure in the area's establishment. Gurley purchased large amounts of land in Greenwood and encouraged other African Americans to move to the district and set up businesses. His vision helped make Greenwood a thriving hub of Black economic success. Other notable figures included J.B. Stratford, a wealthy hotel owner and businessman, and Sarah Page, a Black woman who owned a local theater. The Tulsa Race Massacre. The success of Black Wall Street came to a devastating and violent end in May 1921, in what became known as the Tulsa Race Massacre. The spark for the massacre was a highly contested and ultimately unfounded accusation of sexual assault made by a white woman, Sarah Page, against a young Black man named Dick Rowland. Rowland, a shoe shiner, was accused of assaulting Page in an elevator, though there was little evidence to support the claim. Rowland was arrested and taken into custody, but rumors quickly spread throughout Tulsa's white community that a lynch mob would form to execute him. In response to the rumors, a group of Black residents, including many veterans from World War I, gathered outside the courthouse to protect Rowland. They were met by a much larger white mob. Tensions escalated, and within hours, violence erupted. The white mob began looting and setting fire to the Greenwood district. Businesses were destroyed, homes were burned to the ground, and countless lives were lost. The exact number of deaths is uncertain, but it is estimated that between 100 and 300 people, mostly Black residents, were killed and thousands more were left homeless. The destruction was vast. Over 1,000 homes and businesses were burned, and the once thriving Greenwood district was reduced to rubble. In the aftermath, survivors were left with little to no compensation, as insurance companies refused to pay out claims for the destruction, citing the riot as the cause. Many Black residents were displaced and forced to rebuild their lives with little assistance from the city or state. The aftermath of the massacre was marked by a systematic erasure of the event from public discourse. For many years, the massacre was not widely discussed or acknowledged, and the victims received little to no justice or reparations. In fact, the city of Tulsa did little to help rebuild the Greenwood district, and many of the white residents who had participated in the violence were never held accountable. For decades, the memory of Black Wall Street and the massacre was largely suppressed. Survivors and their families lived in silence, and the story of what happened in Tulsa was not widely taught or recognized. However, in recent years, efforts to commemorate and honor the history of Black Wall Street and the Tulsa Race Massacre have gained momentum. In 2021, the centennial anniversary of the massacre, the nation took a closer look at the lasting impact of the event, with calls for reparations and greater recognition of the Black community's contributions to American society. Several organizations and activists have pushed for justice for the victims of the massacre, including demands for reparations and more thorough investigations into the events that transpired. The city of Tulsa has also taken steps to acknowledge the tragedy, including the creation of the Greenwood Cultural Center and the John Hope Franklin Reconciliation Park, which honors the victims and seeks to promote healing and education about the massacre. The legacy of Black Wall Street is multifaceted. On one hand, it represents the incredible potential of Black entrepreneurship, community building, and resilience in the face of adversity. The Greenwood district was a shining example of Black excellence and the power of economic independence, providing a model for other Black communities across the country. Despite facing institutionalized racism and segregation, Black Wall Street flourished for decades, a testament to the strength and determination of its residents. On the other hand, the destruction of Black Wall Street is a painful reminder of the racial violence and systemic oppression that African Americans have faced throughout U.S. history. The massacre in 1921 and the subsequent lack of justice represents the broader history of racial terror in the United States, where Black communities have often faced brutal repression for their success and achievements. The fact that the massacre was largely forgotten for so many years highlights the erasure of Black history from mainstream narratives and the continued struggles for racial equality. Today, the memory of Black Wall Street lives on as both a symbol of Black economic achievement and a call to action for justice. The events in Greenwood serve as a reminder of the enduring need to confront racism and inequality, as well as to honor the legacy of those who built, lost, and continue to fight for a better future. Black Wall Street represents both the brilliance of African American entrepreneurship and the tragic history of racial violence in the United States. The destruction of Greenwood was not just an attack on Black wealth. It was an attack on Black humanity and the dreams of a community that had worked tirelessly to build a better life. Though the Greenwood district was destroyed, its legacy lives on through the resilience of its descendants and the continuing efforts to ensure that the history of Black Wall Street is never forgotten. The story of Black Wall Street is a testament to the power of community, the pain of injustice, and the ongoing fight for recognition, reparations, and racial equality.